This land is made of love and peace!
The iconic quote rang out by Vash the Stampede, one of the most expertly crafted anime characters of the 90s, and in my opinion, of all time. If there's one thing that Vash is known for, it's his kind-hearted nature. For a man with $60 billion double dollars on his head, you may first think that he's an evil and dangerous man. And well, that second part is true. And the entirety of Trigun is about Vash grappling with his immense power and defeating evil without having to kill them. In today's video, I'm going to dive into the psychology behind pacifism, what led to it in Vash, and how it manifests itself throughout the show, and even how, though it is noble, it is also dangerously self-destructive. Firstly though, I feel that it's necessary to give a quick summary of the Trigun anime for any who haven't seen it, because it really isn't as well known as some of the other shows that I've covered. The story follows Vash the Stampede, a humanoid man who was discovered as a child alongside his twin brother Knives, and they were brought into a fleet of humans in space trying to find a new home world. The ship eventually crash lands onto a planet known as Gunsmoke, a bare and desolate world. The cause of this crash was actually Knives, who wanted to eradicate humanity for reasons that I can't really get into without going on a tangent. Much of the fleet is able to survive though, due to Vash and Knives' caretaker Rem Savorim, who sacrifices herself to save humanity. Vash and Knives live together for a little bit until they get into a big fight and separate. Later, Knives activates Vash's dormant power of the Angel Arm and destroys an entire city. Vash now has a massive bounty on his head and walks alone, facing death at every turn as a walking human disaster. The story follows Vash after an encounter with two members of the Bernardelli Insurance Society, named Millie Thompson and Meryl Strife, as they follow him to ensure he causes as little damage as possible. Sorry for all that yapping, but I feel that it was necessary. So now let's get into the psychology of pacifism. Pacifism is simply the philosophical sense that nonviolent methods should be utilized to solve and avoid conflict, rather than directly attacking and using violence to get what you want. There are many factors that play into whether or not a person is a pacifist and generally avoids violence. I'll first start off with some basic displayed behaviors and possibilities of factors, and then go deeper into what likely played this role for Vash. One factor that was examined in a study by Erdley and Asher in 1998 was the legitimacy of aggression. Children who perceived the legitimacy of aggression higher were shown to be more likely to have a violent response to an ambiguous provocation compared to children with a lower view of legitimacy of aggression. Basically, people who view aggression as less serious or threatening than it is will likely have a much less violent approach than others. While this definitely isn't Vash's primary reason for his pacifism, you can definitely see how it plays a role. Oftentimes Vash is an optimist, the dependable ray of sunshine who's always very capable in a fight. He doesn't exactly take others very seriously, so his optimism of humanity makes him think less of aggression, and his strength gives him even less to think of aggression, leading to Vash overall not believing most aggression is serious and that violence is therefore not necessary. Another aspect that may play into some people being more of a pacifist than others is higher levels of empathy and understanding of perspective. People who are able to see themselves in another person's shoes are much more likely to take the less violent path because they can clearly see the reality and point of view of the situation through the lens of someone else. In terms of empathy, something Vash is full of, there are a few things that have been found to play an integral role in being empathetic. Firstly, an important factor is genetics. A study by the University of Cambridge shows that roughly 1/10 of the variation in human empathy is directly inherited through DNA. Of course, this won't be a factor for Vash though, as he isn't human, but it is something important to consider. The main driving factor of empathy and what heavily contributes to Vash's vow to not kill is through a mix of upbringing, childhood experience, and trauma. Vash was raised very lovingly by Rem. He learned many things and was taught to care for and love everyone. And while this taught Vash a lot, Knives worked as a very negative aspect in his life and tried to change his worldview. When thinking of this, Knives' famous quote comes to mind that really shows the philosophical and psychological differences and how he and Vash view the world differently. Kill the spiders to save the butterflies. It's only rational. Until you realize that by striving to do so, you yourself become the spider. Knives is trying to say that it's necessary to kill to get what you want, but Vash knows this isn't true, and through his nature and upbringing, he doesn't allow himself to get corrupted by Knives. When Rem sacrifices herself to save Vash and Knives, Vash, even after finding that the reason for all of this destruction is Knives, he still vows to Rem that he will take care of his brother, showing how no matter the situation, Vash will always choose love and peace every time. As always though, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed and learned something new. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.